My data just ran out.
Here, you can use my phone.
Thank you. Come on, man. My data finished again.
Relax, honey. You can always use mine.
Wait, how come you always have so much data?
I told you I switched to Tele mobile postpaid plans. Those plans come with plenty of data, so I will never run out of data again.
Okay, well, why don't you come over here and show me more about these plans? Because I'm about to switch to Telem data now.
Welcome to the Late Night Show. Hope everything is okay. Hope everything is all right. I'm your host, Andrew Dick. Okie dokie, kids. What's happening on the lovely island of St. Martin? We begin with the news. Oh my God. Somebody, please ring the bell. So, apparently, big strike happening tomorrow. Yes, there's a strike that is taking place on Tuesday. The civil servants will be putting down their tools and going to a meeting with the union at the Little League ballpark. Now, the reason for the strike is very simple. Money was supposed to come together. The Minister of Finance was like, no, that was the previous government plan. I don't like this plan. Therefore, I'm not going to honor the agreement that the union and the previous government had, because they're the previous government. I the new government. You don't have a deal with me. You have a deal with them. Therefore, I'm not following it. I'm not doing it. I don't want to. Go fly a kite. See you at work tomorrow, 8 a.m. So the unions was like, yeah? You sure you want to do that, Minister? I don't think you understand. Because, we like to laugh about things and go like, well, civil servants ain't really working anyway. They don't really work. So, what would be the difference? A big difference. For example, you see, when you call the fire department and you say there's a fire, because usually there is a fire or something's happening. Hey, wait, hold on, pause. You know, somebody gave me a joke yesterday which was hilarious. I'm not going to call her name, Wendy. I'm not going to call her name at all. So yesterday, a generator room by KFC was on fire. So the fire department had to go and take it out. So she sends me a WhatsApp and she says, I guess the chickens decided to fight back. And I don't know why it was so funny, but I was like, huh? Because I had to figure it out first. And then I was like, oh, the chickens, because they, you kill chickens and now they're like, no, we're going to burn out this place before you cut off our head and make a spicy, nice, delicious breast from KFC. Finger licking good. KFC called me. All right, let's go back to the seriousness of the strike. So the minister then supposed to just honor the old deal and just continue on her merry way while she's only into office for a month. The unions, the workers, civil servants, basically saying, no, we're not doing that. So, for example, like I said, you call the ambulance department or you call the fire department, you say, hey, there's something happening. Guess what they're going to go like? Yeah. Are you dying? Is anybody's dead? No, it's just your property. We're going to let you know. Ambulance, somebody's sick. You better get yourself in the car and drive them to the hospital. We are going to go slow. Tell the minister to pay. And I know you're watching me, and I know you're saying it because I can hear you thinking. Stop thinking so loud. It's very annoying when you go like, they didn't create the problem that was there. It was the previous government. Yeah, guess how government works? It's about continuation. So, in this case, who's in the kitchen? Where do you think that saying come from? Like, who's in the kitchen feels it? The kitchen is the government. The chefs are the political parties. The boss boys is Kevin. Otherwise, to that, this is what we have to deal with. So whoever decides to be the chef of restaurants in Martin, guess what? They have to bear the responsibilities, because it's not my fault that the last year I came to the restaurant and the food was amazing and now it's shit. Or the food before was horrible, but the food now is amazing. You see what I did there? It could be any way, anyhow. So instead of, talking about, yeah, but it was started before. Okay, so what we gonna do about it now? That's why we have politicians going into elections. That's why we have people saying that they have the solutions. So are we always going to say, but it's about who was there before? Duh. If you look at it, every government before this government was the worst. This one is the best because they only had 1 month. They only had 1 month, and to give them a chance. What? So I ain't supposed to be talking about nothing that happens now. It's burning now. It wasn't burning last year, but it's burning now. And I got to say, you know what, Messalina? It's not your fault. Just leave it burn. Because you can always blame it on Duran. Always blame on Atwell. Always blame it on the Minister of Everything, Omar Otley. Blame it on everybody. But for now, we are great. We are good. Because a new government is there and they are going to uncover all the craziness that the governments before did, and they're going to save the day. Well, save the day tomorrow. And you better pay them civil servants. Just saying. I know at times we like to point fingers at everybody but ourselves, which is fine. But the government is really a reflection of the population. So if you the one who voted for these people, and I'm talking about all parties, why are you complaining? Nobody runs to be opposition. So is it your fault? I'm just saying, if you put capable people in capable positions, but you want to put a doctor as the prime minister and then want to get vexed at the comedian. How come he doesn't have a structural plan? Because he doesn't have to perform open heart surgery. Because he's a surgeon, and he's surgically. Let me stop. Another thing that happened today is Richard Gibson Sr. announced that he will be running in the next elections with the United People's Party. Shocker. Everybody was shocked when the announcement was made. And he said basically, coming to save the day and, all that good stuff. We have the highlight for you. Let's get into it.
This former minister, Gibson, he will be your number 2 candidate on the United People's Party slate. Mr. Gibson, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
And
Bibi.
welcome back.
And thanks for that wonderful introduction.
Mm-hmm.
And I listened to your announcement you made before. And really, it reminds me of Rome is burning, and Nero grabbed his harp and started playing and watching the whole place burning down.
Mm-hmm.
St. Martin is on fire across the board,
All right.
every corner, with everything. And if something is not done, pretty soon the airport will close, the harbor will close.
Yes.
People will suffer more than they're suffering now. Something needs to be done.
And I guess that's...
Well, I have a way that I always, before I make a decision, I imagine myself laying in my grave, looking back over my life, and I ask myself, did I do the right thing or not?
Mm-hmm.
And right now, I'm doing nothing. I run Burger King, spend about 4 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
And then I leave and I go and fool around with my guitar. And then I go and practice golf and look at TV. That's what I've been doing now for years. And I'm saying to myself, am I being fair to myself? Am I being fair to this society? Whilst I still have the capacity, the insight, and the experience to lend a helping hand. And I got to hand it to Omar Atlee from the Up Party, who I recently met. And in one conversation, he did not hesitate on the spot, probably detected or knew my past and knew the things that I've done before, and said to me, why don't you run? I have number 2 slot open for you. You can run as number 2. And it didn't take me long to make up my mind, laying in my grave, looking back,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm saying, I have to do this. I don't have a choice because I am not Nero. I'm not going to continue playing my harp and watch Rome burn to pieces.
Wide up, knowing that you are a National Alliance stalwart and founding member of the National Alliance, by the way. I was there, I was at all their meetings, and I know you worked hard behind this party. But wide up and not the National Alliance? Because I know this will take a lot of people by surprise.
Very simple, and I think I already gave you that answer.
Today, yes. But I want you to give my all.
Without hesitation, recognizing my value as they see it, came and offered me the number 2 spot on their party. No other party offered me that. Other parties have also asked me to run,
Mm-hmm.
but no other party offered me that opportunity
Mm-hmm.
where realistically, or most probably, you could be in a position to do things that's going to benefit the country. And I think it's not the position that attracts me in terms of what benefits come with a position. I don't need those benefits. But the fire department has to come in this crisis while everything is burning down. Somebody got to, we cannot continue to do what we've been doing before. It's insanity.
Yes.
Definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. No, we have to do something different.
Without further ado, one of the burning things that are happening besides what's going on in government, what's happening with civil servants, all of those things, they are happening, yes, but one of the burning things, and that's affecting every single person living on that side, is the situation at NVGEBE. And you would hear everybody, including myself, talking about when you were in government in 2016 and you went after GEBE and said, hey, pay up. And they had to pay all dividends owed to government. Would you mind going into that and explain at that time your position and with government's position at the time?
That too is very simple. I've heard rumors and I've heard certain allegations being made by people. The first question you have to ask yourself, what is my job as Minister of Finance?
Mm-hmm.
My job as Minister of Finance is to make certain that all the rules that are applicable are being carried out by every company. I didn't go after GBE as you put it. That's not the case. I had a program where every government-owned company had to present their financial statements, audited,
Yes.
because without those statements, you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And every government-owned company functions, operates on a contract, you can call it that, which is their articles of incorporation. The government, as shareholder, said, look, I have this plant, I have this equipment, I want you to manage it for me. Managing board and supervisory board. And the conditions under which you're going to manage this company is these articles of incorporation that says once a year you need to present, audit the financial statements. Once a year, management has to produce a management report of the activities conducted during the past year. In your audited financial statement, you will identify what your profits and losses are. And we will keep a shareholders meeting. And in that shareholders meeting, based on your needs, based on your recommendations, the profits that has been earned, because government has to get a return on its investment, government and the board, upon the recommendation of the board, would decide as a shareholder what portion of those profits remain with the company for investments, for the expenses and so forth, projected, and what portion of the profits goes to the government coffers as dividends. What we found in 2016, after I went through this process, that GB did not present their audited annual financial statements. GB had on its account approximately 60 million guilders sitting there that they were accumulating year after year. It was not in 1 year they accumulated that. For years they built that up. So as Minister of Finance, it was my job to impress upon them what the articles of incorporation of their company says. The 60 million that they had, that money was actually money in dividends sitting in the bank that should have years ago been shared with the government as dictated by the Articles of Incorporation, which is the law governing the relationship between government and GBE. Someone had said, and I want to refute that here, yeah, the minister took the money. And I laughed, and I smiled, and said, could you tell me how that's possible? Does he have a checkbook? Can he just go and signs a check and say, hey, 30 million comes to the government? Ministers don't have a checkbook for operating company or to write what they want. That decision of the 60 million, although the dividends that the government had a right to probably was more, unanimously the board, managing board, and the supervisory director decided in that shareholders meeting that they will pay half
Of what they had accumulated.
So half went to government, the other half stayed with them for repairs, investments, and what have you. At that time, you should know, they had already acquired one Wärtsilä engine.
In 2016, one came, yes.
And here's another interesting thing that I think I should note and share with all your followers on this program. The engines were bought from Wärtsilä. engines have a lifetime, a lifespan
Yes.
that expires, which attention should have been paid and has been paid. No one will convince me that, oh, we didn't know, we didn't see. Wärtsilä maintains those engines for them.
Yes.
There are reports stating what repairs and maintenance have been done to those engines and when. There are reports as to what the lifespan is of these engines. So how could you not know and follow what the expert is telling you has to happen? It's something that's beyond me and I don't understand. Plus, at least from the issue you raised, they had 30 million guilders
What have they done with it?
to do whatever they have to do. You see, some people go up and that's what's wrong with society. Some people go up and say, yeah, the minister took 30 million, which is an impossibility, but the man in the street don't know that, can't decipher that. And what they forget to say is, yeah, the money he took was dividends, and based on a decision made by GEBE and its board and management, 30 million went to pay dividends that they haven't paid for years, and they remain with 30 million. You see how you get butter on your face when you leave out the last part? Because everybody's saying, yeah, government took the money, which is an outright lie. The situation is that we live in a country of law and order. We have a management contract, we have a Argan corporation that imposes the obligations on management and supervisory director as to what has to happen with these companies. All of these companies have problems. You know why? The same reason I'm telling you here. Nobody follows the rules. And if you want things to be straightened out and be proper, and you know where you stand, you have to make sure that they carry out the rules. And it starts from the top. Without that, you get the mess we have today in all of the government-owned companies. Don't forget, these companies are monopolies.
Yes.
With exception to Telem,
Yes.
who has competitors.
Yes, Flo.
All the others, they're monopolies. Could you tell me how a monopoly could lose money? There's only one way: mismanagement, bad spending, bad decisions, which nobody monitors, nobody supervises. And then today, while that is going on, you ask yourself, how we got here? The signs were on the wall. Sooner or later, it's going to come and bite you in the behind.
Now,
that's what we have.
how do you intend? What solutions you see for this if elected, or even if elected? Or how do you plan to solve this whole mess that's going on? Because GB is telling you already that listen, we are going to get load shedding for a few more weeks or months, if possible, until they have an agreement to lease generators somewhere or engines somewhere they're going to lease, and then it will take time to reach St. Martin and then installed before they can stop this. And then the engines themselves you're talking about from Wärtsilä is going to take another 2 years to be built. So which means they didn't order anything, they didn't do anything, everything is collapsing, we're having load shedding. How do you envision fixing this issue?
Okay. I think that I could disperse of this question very easily. It's up to the experts. We have no choice, okay? Because it's affecting every individual on the island. It's infecting, and what we have is a tourist economy. It's affecting the tourist economy. It's affecting the hotels. So whatever it takes to get stable electricity in future, we're going to have to do. Now you're going to run into a serious problem. That serious problem is where are you going to get the money from?
Well, we don't know. They said they're looking for creditors. And like you said, there is a monopoly. So with a monopoly, of course, they can bargain there.
Yeah, but the reality is the situation is what it is. And we have to take steps to make sure that we have stable electricity in the country. It's one of the fundamental things. That's why it's so bad what happened, because everybody needs electricity. Some people, to sleep need electricity. Some people to cook. Some people. So it is such a fundamental thing. It's the first thing you make sure never goes wrong.
Electricity
And what we
and
have-
water. And now you're having both going.
And now we have in this situation, and you have to ask yourself, why? How could people be so irresponsible? At any rate, I'm going beyond that to reply to the question that you ask. We have to get stable electricity. We have to do everything in our power. And they came up with some ideas that I'm reading the papers about
Power barge.
a barge with electricity, or get borrow engines or get engines temporarily. Whatever that information they have and they know, I don't. But it has to happen. It has to happen soon. Because the longer this takes, the deeper the scars are going to be. Look, the Minister of TIAT reported that Canada
Yes.
already issued a
Tra-
warning in a trial in a
travel risk. Security risk.
travel advisory to their citizens. It's terrible that we're at that point. The only thing we have is tourism. It reminds me of something else. When I was Minister of Finance, you get off the airport and you drive from the airport to the Tropicana, and you look at it, it's the same way it has been basically from time immemorial. There's no sidewalk. You would see some tourists pushing their carts, their cribs with baby in it. They have to do it on the road because there is no way they can do that on the side of the road. When it rains, you cannot walk alongside those roads because it splashes up on you. You get your clothes dirty. Some people jog, sometimes they hurt their ankles. Recognizing that, I went to come and then to Parliament, and I said, look, this is a shameful situation. We have to do something more. Everybody's upgrading, right? This is your showcase to the world. So at least that section, improve it, landscape it, put proper sidewalks. Right now, it's the top place on the island where tourists hang out at night. Went to Parliament, identified the funds they're going to take to do it, got to Parliament, and Parliament unanimously approved it. Put it in the budget. Now the circle is complete as far as I'm concerned. The funds are there, the approvals are there. Now all we have to do is execute. Government change, and up to today, from 2018 when I left, the project has not been executed. You cannot, we cannot continue this way. We have to make building blocks across the board to improve every area that need improving. You don't accept this job and go and sit on your seat, collect your $10,000 and do nothing. You must have something to show for as to what you've done when you left. But even when you do and you left, you see what happens? They go and reallocate the funds that are already approved for the project and do something else with it.
Another thing that I want to ask you, just recently, I understood the 2023 budget. They had up until March this year, before up to then they can use that budget. We are in June. Still no 2024 budget approved, and we're having ministers, members of parliament, and everybody traveling. They're on a traveling spree. When you were there, what was the per diem per day?
I don't remember what it
It was
was.
$400 a day.
I don't remember what it was, but that's neither here nor there. What it was, whatever it was approved, and that was the rule, and whatever we paid what they got. The problem is different, I think. When I came in, I had a similar situation. The budget for the previous year was not presented. They could not get it together to present the budget. They tried, but they couldn't make the circle complete. So that first year, at a certain point, we decided, okay, don't bother with it. Make sure this one is in order. And there's certain things I did, as you know.
Lots
Came in,
of
I
cutting.
said, you know, my mother, she was a very wise woman. And she says, boy, you can't spend what you didn't earn. And I stuck to that theme with everybody and balanced the budget not once, but twice.
Yes.
So that is where, to come back to your question, I think the problem is not that there's 400 per diem. It is, you can only use what's budgeted. Now, if you budgeted one place too much and another place not enough, you got a problem. You got to go back to Parliament to get that budget changed. You cannot use the money. You cannot just say, I'm going to spend more. No. Or you have to grow the economy, and if growth and you have more income coming, you go back to Parliament and you change the budget, and then you have funds to further distribute to the ministries, which I've done during my tenure. And then they have to spend only that money, no more. So in the end, when you follow that path, you will end up with a balanced budget. But you will not end up with a balanced budget if one, you projected income that you have no approval for. It's pie in the sky. And when push comes to shove, the income don't come in, you got a hole in your budget. And I think that's what is happening.
St. Martin have dealt with the pandemic. I mean, 2020, you were not there, but you know the effects of the pandemic. Prior to that, we had Irma, and still this country managed to bounce back and to be where we are today. But do you foresee what is happening in government as well as what's happening with GEBE, that this will take us back down the ladder?
Well, you know, people don't realize, you know, all of these situations, at the end of the day, you pay. Somebody doing cause corruption comes back to haunt you. You pay. You don't see it, but you will pay. If you overspend your budget under the law with CFT, you're going to have to, whatever deficit you have, you got to make up for the following year. So there'll be less money available for roads, for people paying for it. You see what I mean? More interesting, GBE. Have you noticed that your bills are substantially higher after the so-called hack than before?
Oh, yes. And they said it's fuel clause.
All right, let's address that. You know, when you ask for water and electricity from GE, you get a form to fill out.
Yes.
If you pay attention to that form has what rates you will be paying for water, what rates you're going to be paying for electricity. It's like a contract between you. You're being told up front, okay, here's your connections, fine, sign for your connection. This is going to be your rates. Those rates is nothing close to what they charge you now. There's so much additional things they charge you, and you ask, well, what happened to the original contract that we had? Who gave you the right? How did you get the right, after asking me to sign this, to charge me other things that I didn't sign for?
And nobody contesting it.
Take that connection fee form and take a look at it and see if that form allows GB to charge anything more than the rates that's on it. Now, I understand, I don't know, I haven't been out for 6 years or what have you, that fuel clause is a normal thing. When I say normal thing, everybody accept fuel clause. Because oil fluctuates in price.
Yes.
So you cannot expect you get your rates and then GB going to charge you. And if the rates go up $100 a barrel or $90 a barrel or what have you, somebody has to pay for that. You can't expect GB to pay for it. But there's something that they charge for after this hack called throughput fees, which they put under the heading of fuel clause. Those throughput fees, nobody have an idea what it is. I'll tell you what it is. And I'll tell you why everything everywhere is so damn expensive. You go to the supermarket and you see the prices in supermarkets, and you get angry and you blame the supermarket. But you know that containers that used to cost $4,000 or $5,000 before now cost you $8,000, $9,000, $10,000. Why? Because of these throughput fees. Now, how do these throughput fees come about? The harbor didn't have money. For whatever reason, they built a bridge. They did a lot of other things like signing contracts and signing checks for people who didn't produce nothing or what have you. They were having a ball. And now they don't have money. So they have to come up with some kind of system to get money. Harbor went to GBE and said, look, you see the water from Point Blanche all the way down to KB. Government gave us a concession on that water.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They have a concession on the water. And they say, you see those ships that come in and bring fuel? You have to pay a throughput fee. And in your bill, that throughput fee is on the fuel clause. Every ship that comes in the harbor,
Well. Look.
every ship that comes in the harbor with containers have to pay a throughput fee. And that throughput fee ends up in your bill because the harbor needs money and needs payload. Don't you remember that the Prime Minister, former Prime Minister, according to reports in the paper, and I'm only going by the reports in the paper, said that she went to the harbor because everybody complained about the prices of fuel. And she asked the harbor to drop the throughput fees. And the harbor said, no, we got loans to pay.
Wow.
When I read that, I said, oh, wait a minute. Who owns the harbor? Who owns GPE? Am I going to go and ask them? Especially when the cost of freight, the cost of foodstuff that everybody needs. Where you costing the supermarkets for? The supermarket, they don't have a choice. Pays these increased costs so that GBE, so that the harbor who went to GB and told GB they have to include in their bills the throughput fees to pay them for the use of their water. I mean, whose water it is. I mean, I thought it was
GB services.
our water.
Yeah.
But it's a gimmick to think up a method to be able to collect from the whole island, everybody, the money they need for the money they wasted in the harbor.
So if you like to, Mr. Gibson, you have a lot of work to do. A lot of cleaning up.
Look, I'm not a magician, all right? But, and it's not going to happen overnight. But you have to set yourself on the correct path to start cleaning up and to get rid of all of this nonsense that goes on. What is certain, you can't go ahead like you're going ahead now. What is certain, you're at a crossroad. You have to make a change. If not, where you think we're going to end up?
Hell,
There is no other way. It's there, it's in front of you, it's coming. Unless you do something to change it. You can't be doing the same thing you've been doing before. That's insane. You have to do something different. If not, same thing is going to continue.
the government this time around managed to secure capex funds for the capital investments. But all the projects that started, for example, side roads and all the infrastructure that they started shortly after the January elections, they're now placed on hold. What do you think about that? Because for how many years St. Martin was not getting any capital investment funds? Now they get it. They have the money. But all the project stops.
Who stopped them?
Whoever, from the time this government came in, side roads, everything stopped. I asked the Minister of Finance that very question, why? And she said, I couldn't answer the question, but Minister of Romy.
The capex is still there.
Mm-hmm.
What the capex is? The capex is funds that, under the rules of CFT,
Mm-hmm.
is available for you to make capital expenses,
Mm-hmm.
capital investments.
Mm-hmm.
Capital investments is needed and necessary because capital expenditures produces return over the long term. So it's there, it's a given. It has not disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody could say, well, we're not executing them. But if you're not executing them, that's something you choose not to do. And it could be, I would think, because of elections, because of change of government back and forth and so forth, that you don't have those things on the rail to continue. I don't know. But I don't think it's a right conclusion to say all those capex. The capex is there, the money is there. You got to have the manpower, the know-how to execute those projects. It's
But
like
some of them had started already. For example, the side roads, infrastructure projects had started. I could tell you several places they started, but then suddenly they stopped.
this stuff
And
is,
we cannot know or get an answer as to the reason why they stopped.
well, I don't know either. All I can saying is the capex that is available continues to be available, and somebody's going to have to find out who stopped it and why they stopped it.
All right. We are winding down on the program for today. Is there anything that you would want to tell the viewers? Because we know already you are the number two candidate on the upslate. You will be there for August 19. And like you said, we are on the wrong track and something must be done. We cannot continue to do the same thing as we have been doing in the past years. What would you want to tell the voters, especially this time around?
Well, I think you already said what I said, and I talked about what's insanity. Insanity is to continue to do the same thing you're doing before and expecting a different result. The problem that we have is, overall, we have a human resource problem for the island. We have that. But if you do not be selective in who you put on the list and who you appoint to be competent, who have be competent to run something, to manage something, you're going to get a mess like that we have today. You have to appoint people who are committed to start with, and who cares, and who is prepared to make sacrifices, to make decisions short term and long term, to keep the train on the right track. The only way to do things the right way. As soon as you wave off those tracks, you can predict there's going to be problems.
All right, thank you, Mr. Gibson.
Whew, that was long. Jesus, maybe we could talk. All right, late night show. Welcome back to Mr. Gibson. Another thing, I know what you're thinking, so let me get it just out of the way. Some people are calling him already St. Martin Joe Biden. How old is Sarah Westcott Williams? Go. Go. Oh, William Mallon, when did he retire? Last year? How old he is? Huh? Oh, take all old people and put them in a room and close it and lock it and forget them because they already had a chance? That's what you're saying? You could do that to your mother and your father? Oh, no, you're getting upset. No, I just saying, like, who you are. Because I didn't know we was doing the age shaming these days. People was blowing up my phone. Oh, you gotta make a meme, make Gibson look like Joe Biden. I was like, but we got Hillary Clinton right there in Parliament. What are you talking about? I just literally make fun of Sarah of her age every week. She the one who discovered St. Martin. She babysitted Christopher Columbus. She was George Washington babysitter. She wanted it okay. Like, I literally would I just make fun of the woman all the time because of her age. So leave my Joe Biden alone, you hear? Late night show, man. Don't go nowhere.
At GEBE, we take the safety and quality of your water seriously. Every day, our dedicated sample collectors venture into the field, visiting the places that matter to you: water tanks, school, supermarkets, home, and high-risk areas. Once these samples return to our water quality lab at KB, they embark on a journey that safeguards your well-being. Our dedicated analysts take over, sending these samples to the microbiology and chemistry departments, respectively. This is where the magic happens. We test for a range of parameters, and we do this every single day, no matter what, including holidays and weekends. In our microbiology department, we focus on two major tests targeting various bacteria. Confirmation tests are conducted, and we have plans in place in case the results are confirmed. And then we do it all over again, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Rain or shine, your water safety never takes a day off. So when you turn on the tap and enjoy a glass of GEBE's water, you can do so with confidence. GEBE, the power to serve.
At SXM, we're taking travel and tourism to new heights. Here we boast spacious check-in areas, 10 passport control points, comfortable departure lounges, and an exciting new airport mall. Finally, there's an airport in the Caribbean that takes your travel plans as seriously as you do. Princess Juliana International Airport. The experience will move you.
And I'll fall on my knee. Tell me how to wait to be. Tell me how to wait for. Tell me all that I should know.
Great job, Carl. Thank you. Jeremy, come on up. For the final word in the Spelling Bee Championship, please spell insurance.
Insurance. Nagico. Insurance.
That's correct. I hope your father can spell Nagico too.
Nagico is insurance. Insurance is Nagico.
Okay. I would like to apologize to all the aged persons. I'm just joking. I don't apologize. Let's go to the flashback.
Flashback.
Good night, St. Martin, and welcome to your favorite online internet program. Of course, I'm your host, Christopher Emmanuel, and again, we're going to have a very interesting program because I have a very, how should I say it? Yeah, we have a very energetic guest in the studio. He doesn't hold his words back, nor his punches. And this is one of the reasons why I'm glad that he's here with us tonight. So we can always get a different view or another side in terms of the issues on St. Martin. It's always going to get a difference of opinion, whether you go, your views seems to stem along. But let me say good night to each and every one of you guys out there. Call a friend, call someone, and tell them to log on now to www.sxmtalk.com. I'm here with none and other, how I just call him, community activist, entrepreneur, businessman, inspirational speaker, guest speaker. I'm here with Olivia Arundel, no stranger to us here on St. Martin Talk, no stranger to the people of St. Martin when it comes to voicing his opinion. Olivia, good night and welcome to St. Martin Talk.
Chris, thank you for inviting me. It's always a pleasure coming here. And I like to come around when the controversy is. This is nice because I guess this is the only time when, people wants to sit around and listen to the opinions of those who they never wanted to listen to. Because this is a time where, the things that we have been saying for a very long time is now being, is being processed within the system. We can see it take its course, and thanks for having me again.
Yeah, of course, we does voice our opinion sometimes, whether we agree or disagree. We always seem to keep a level, cool head. I can't say that for much of the people who others have discussions with now and again, Olivia. But the last time I heard you in terms of giving your opinion or voicing your concerns was on Billy D.
Yeah.
And I was surprised. Well, I didn't say I should have been surprised. Well, a gentleman stopped me. Occasionally, he always does stop me. We just talk about issues. And he asked me if I listened to Olivia today on Billy D. And I said I listened to part of it, and then I had to leave. I didn't get the rest. What I want to hear from you is the explanation you gave to Billy D in terms of the football player example. You give an example when you was asked, what is going on in the current system as it is right now with the ministers in parliament and the ministers versus parliament, the two different bodies. He was explaining to me, right, that you gave an example in terms of, look, listen, if I just play football and you just play basketball or something like that, you said.
Yeah,
I didn't get it, so I told him I didn't hear that part of it.
Yeah, I was given a very lame, a very small explanation in a sense of sport. Why? If you playing basketball and I am playing football, which meaning William Marlin is playing the game that is being played in the law. When government has fallen, when Romain Laville jumped the first time, you remember? Theo them was not intelligent enough to play the game that William is playing. So what I said on Billy D, which no one can contest, is listen, if you don't understand the law, hey, get a lawyer to advise you. Everybody wants to be angry with the National Alliance, and you know that, hey, I'm not a supporter of any.
Yeah, when you bash, you
Correct,
bash.
correct.
We just be at it.
But,
we just
but,
be
but
at
let's look at it seriously. William is playing the game according to the Constitution. If I am going to play basketball against you, I have to practice. And the problem is, for years, the experience which William has gained in the Parliament of the Netherlands Antilles is what you're seeing being played today in a parliamentary system in the country of St. Martin. And the DP never wanted to win federal election, you remember? So this is the game that is being played right now. And obviously I can't call it no other thing. And you know what was the biggest foul that just come out there? Sarah hold the red card she got. You see the red card? The referee give you a red card. She hold it. And what happened, the lamest thing to do is now the red card has been exposed. And now that the red card is being exposed, you're trying to find sympathy. So therefore, what I would have done if I was in that position, Chris, I would apologize to the people. No. Just try to find a reason why I did it and tell them, look, I've got politically hungry because I will say, like, listen, there's a project that I want to find a way out. But because her intentions are not, because of her intentions, the way how I have seen for the past years going on, because her intentions is not genuine, she can't find nothing genuine to tell the public. Because obviously sympathy can only be described by genuinity, right? So you got caught. The best thing to do, man, is just break up parliament and just go back to the people and have the opportunity to run, you know.
Olivier, there's a number of individuals, even in our age group. You know, I see that you are having a spirited debate right now on Facebook with such gentlemen, you know, in terms of his affiliations and stuff like that, who are adamantly against new elections for the simple reason of new party, this and that and that. I mean, how do you subscribe to that when you hear those sort of reasons?
Well, look, you know, number one, if a new party has intentions to run, they must always be ready for when the war is about to begin. Always be ready. Always have your people to go down. Election can be called today. You always have to be ready to have your people. I've been through the process already with my little small political party. I stand up at census office and I got all those people to sign in order. I was ready and I got those signatures less than a day, Chris, standing up there. What I'm saying is that if they should call elections today, any brand new political party must be ready.
That is a really nice show. Thank you so much for watching. Until tomorrow, have a safe and pleasant one. And don't forget to smile, people. You know, be nice, be kind. And when you're working, it's not your fault that you're working. Like, just, you know, be courteous before we not get another review.